Thank you, and thanks to Prajal for inviting me to talk about destruction of Goa, and maybe share with you steps on my work with the youth. And I completely believe in Armando's vision that if we don't give the baton to youngsters or youth who are actually quite responsible and can implement many wonderful ideas, I think we can have some hope if we do that. So I completely believe in that vision. So when Prajal mentioned to me that we need to talk about the destruction of Goa, I thought that first we need to understand why this destruction is happening and simply what we can do. And the first image that came to my mind was, I don't know whether you've heard of the story of two cats fighting over a piece of cake, and then there's this little rat who comes to help them, and eventually he ends up eating the cake. So in this case, I would say that the rat represents all other people who actually want to physically eat Goa or finish Goa, and the two cats would be all Goans, whether they are insiders or outsiders, who in a way are contributing to destruction. Now why do I say this? And why do I represent Goa as a cake? I simply do that because, to me, in my mind, Goa is pristine. Its natural beauty and its nature itself is something that is very close to me. And if you know that all human activity is always at the cost of the environment. There's nothing that we can, humans can't survive without taking anything from nature. But how we do it is very, very critical. So before we can even talk about destruction, we need to look at, what we are destroying. So what does Goa have that we should be, feeling that we need to conserve? So I would look at them as assets, and most of them are natural assets. There are a few man-made assets. So what are these assets? One is water. While most of us relate to water as a tap, we turn on our taps at home and we think that we have water at our disposal to our women fantasy. But where does this water come from? So the two aspects. One is our waters come from the pristine forests, okay? And we don't have any connection to the forest because probably we have not even seen some of the forests in Goa. But that is the fresh water that comes to our home. And if we have both, construction activity and mining, our forests are going to go. And if forests are going to go, the water is going to go, and everything else that we depend on, even medicines for the latest, lifestyle diseases, is all going to go, and it will probably lead to extinction. The next source of water, which is very relevant to Panjim, is the water that we have here. And it's ironic that although, Panjim is a city which has three springs, natural springs and perennial springs. Probably most of you don't know about this. We still have water shortages. Okay, so that is water. Our assets are water. Our assets are also what brings in tourism. Our beaches, pristine beaches. But look at the state of our beaches. Everywhere you have shacks coming up. Okay, so if we expect tourists to come here and tourism to sustain business, if the beaches are not going to last, if you're not going to protect what is so important, how will tourism survive? How will business survive? Right? So that is another ecosystem that we need to recognize, take ownership of, and protect. The other things in terms of pristine beauty and natural beauty are all our coastal estuarine lands, all our Khazan lands. And what is the connection to it? There's a lot of food, there's a lot of food security. I think a lot of people don't know. Again, our modern lifestyle makes us think that our food is coming from packets in a superstore. Correct? A lot of people do that. But all these peri-urban areas, all our fields are sources of our food security. And what are we giving back to these areas? One thing is we don't recognize what they're giving us, even natural salt. And what are we giving it? We're giving it our sewage. We're giving it our garbage and litter. These are the very critical problems that Goa is facing.